Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video from Radio 1.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. It's a super exciting time because if you look at it, especially in the second wave that we had, things got a little bit nuts. Things got a little crazy, honestly. And with everything that kind of happened, there was a lot of sadness everywhere. There was a lot of, let's just say, people struggling to get things done. But how often do we make something beautiful out of something unfortunate that kind of happened? Well, there is a duo that just did some phenomenal work, and here's the cool part that you might or might not know: they are mother and son, entrepreneur, author, and so many other things. Varun Agarwal is with me on the show, and his mum, the wonderful Purnima Agarwal, is with us as well. It is so good. Let me just start by saying to see you both in one frame. How's it going?
Thank you so much, Kay. Thank you so much for having us. How's it going with you?
Going well. Auntie, thank you for doing this. This is so cool because I know you've been doing a lot of ultra cool things. You've been writing about, very interesting stories. Can we start by talking about that?
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me, like, where did this kind of come from and how did you start this?
Actually, this is again about Mayank only. Because we and Varun, we used to go to places where Mayank used to hang out. And then one day we were sitting in this beautiful place, and we both were actually remembering Mayank, and we were actually crying. And then we see this little girl in the bar making cocktails. And Varun just asked me, why don't you just go and talk to this little girl?
Mm.
And because Mayank was from the hospitality side, I always was very, very, it attracted me a lot.
Right.
So I went and spoke to this girl, and when I came to know she's just 21-year-old, and she came all the way from Sikkim and started this, it was really I was very happy and very surprised to talk to her.
Right.
Because in such a young age she wanted to become an air hostess, and then she could not make it because of her height, and then she finally thought what to do, and on Instagram watching another woman doing this, and she thought, okay, I can do this. She went back to Guwahati, she learned about it, she came back to Bangalore, and then she got a job. It was amazing, such a young age. Yeah.
Awesome. Auntie, the stories are very, very beautiful, very unique, and the way you've penned them down also are so nice. And I love how Varun also has been so supportive. He's been telling people, listen, support my mom.
Yeah.
This is so
Always.
great.
That actually happened because of Varun only. Yes.
I'm so glad to hear that. Lovely. Great. But, in such times, I find it unbelievably amazing, what the both of you have gotten together and put together this whole initiative that is known as Mayank for Bangalore. And I believe, if I've got my dates right, I think, of course, the loss of Varun happened in April, if I've got that right.
26th of April.
Yeah.
26th of April. Yeah. And then I messaged Varun later because that was around the same time that I had COVID myself. And I was in the hospital myself. So when I got out, I messaged Varun. And I think, keeping the memory of someone alive and kicking like that in such a beautiful way, did this decision between y'all just kind of happen overnight? Like, or what was that process? I'm curious into setting up Mayank for Bangalore.
Yeah, Varun will say about it because it happened when we went to immerse the ashes of Mayank.
Yeah, so basically, when we had gone to immerse the ashes, the the guy who was presiding the ceremony, he told us that in order to remember someone, you need to do something that person really liked a lot. And Mayank was someone who really liked helping a lot of people, financially or otherwise. He would not even think twice before helping people. So initially, we did not know what we could do because it was just so chaotic, right? So we just started by helping people get hospital beds. And while we were trying to get people hospital beds, we realized that a lot of low income and underprivileged families were admitted into private hospitals because there were no beds available. So there was so much chaos. And the private hospital costs were really exorbitant, something that these people could not afford at all. And so we started getting a lot of calls saying, please help us. You know, the hospital bill is 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs. How will we pay? We don't have any money. And, you know, and these are people, you know, who are probably a plumber or an auto driver,
Yeah.
cemetery worker. So then I thought, okay, maybe there is something that we can do around this. So we set up something known as the Mayank Agarwal Fund, the Mayank for Bangalore Fund. And I started using my Instagram community to see if people would be interested in donating. And it came as an absolute shocker. I think in just a matter of a few days, we raised about 50 lakhs
Yeah.
and helped numerous families. And I guess it was Mayank who made it happen.
That's so nice to hear. That last line is what really touches me. That
Yeah.
Mayank made it happen.
Actually,
Auntie, what is it like for you?
Yeah, it actually I think because of Mayank, and he helped us do this.
Yeah.
Because he always wanted to help people. That was his first thing in life, always.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I would love if you could, kind of take us through, say, Varun sets this up and you decide to do this and it gets moving. But then the response that you receive, like Varun said, was unexpected, unbelievable, raising more than 500,000 just like that, with people just wanting to give back. Is that something that pleasantly surprised you both? What was that journey like?
Yes, it actually surprised me a lot. I thought, okay, max we could raise 10 lakhs, but actually I never thought we could raise up to more than 50 lakhs.
Yeah. In fact, it got to a point where I stopped the fundraisers because I just felt,
Okay, now.
yeah, I just felt it's a little unfair to keep raising it from my community again and again. But
Yeah.
had we just kept going, we would have raised way more. But I just felt, okay, fine, we need to draw a line somewhere. So,
Right.
which is why we decided that this 50 lakhs is where we will stop.
Okay. And Bangalore's been epic, right? Wouldn't you guys agree? Bangalore's such a phenomenal city where everybody really wants to help. At least that's the instance that I've found every time someone reaches out for help. This community is so tight. I don't mean to pit Bangalore against all other cities, but but I love the support that people come forward with, especially in a city like Bangalore.
Yeah, and I think that was probably a defining moment for our city, right? Because I've been born and raised in Bangalore. I've never seen Bangalore, this sad or in this level of turmoil. And to see the entire city come together and, just help each other with absolutely no selfless helping. I remember once there was this lady who messaged me at about 3 a.m. saying she can't breathe. So I posted a story on my Instagram saying, and this was at the peak of COVID, and she had no medicines, no help, right? And I said, hey, this lady can't breathe at 3 a.m. Is there anybody willing to go to her house? And there were literally like 20 people who said, hey, I'm willing to go to her house and, I can help with whatever way is possible.
Wow.
So just seeing the selfless kind of support that people gave, and including all the other people, right? Nicole was burying dead bodies. There were these other girls who were cooking and supplying food across Bangalore. And obviously, we did a tie-up with a lot of people where we gave food to a lot of the homeless people around Bangalore. So I think just the selflessness that we saw in those 2 months made me believe in the city way, way, way more.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the best part was the common people who helped. There were no influencers. There was nothing.
No.
It didn't matter how many followers you had. It didn't matter, whether you were famous. It didn't matter what reach you had. Every person was out there saying, okay, I may have only 100 followers on my Instagram, but I'm still going to share this.
Yeah. And, when all of this kind of happened and all of this came together, and once in a while, I think personally for Varun at least, Auntie, because, he's a lot more active on social media, obviously, that he would get these bouts of remembering these beautiful things about Mayank and these very sweet things that he would post about. And, my fiance would send it to me as saying that, this is so beautiful what he just, was thinking. I'm sure that kind of, remembering the beautiful things about Mayank, I would love, we often talk about the sad things that happen, but I would love for you to tell us some happy things about Mayank. You said he was such a giver. You said he's always, you want to help people. Tell me happy things about Mayank.
Actually, Mayank was a very, very happy person.
Yeah, super happy.
He was
person.
all the time, he was happy.
Yeah.
He never liked if anybody was sad.
Yeah. And he was so full of life. He wanted to do so many
Yes,
things.
Full of life.
He was all set to go to the US to study. He loved food. He's literally tried every single restaurant in Bangalore.
Yes.
He loved pastries and cakes, which is why we ran the cake project recently.
Yes.
Where we're sending cakes to orphanages.
Yeah.
And and he just believed in selflessness. He would never keep anything for himself. He would always just give things away. And things like when he would get his first salary, he would go and buy my mom an iPhone.
Yeah, first salary, he bought me the best, the most expensive iPhone.
Yeah,
so sweet.
So he would never keep anything for himself.
Yeah, never.
Everything was for others.
Everything was for others. Yeah, I was shocked. Like, how can you buy such an expensive phone?
That was your reaction?
That was my reaction. What will I do with such an expensive phone? It is for you. Children will use more, not me. No, mom, I know you like phones very much, so you have to buy, he said.
So sweet. That's so nice to hear. What would you personally like to say to Bangaloreans out there, to other fellow Indians out there? I'll start with Auntie and then I'll go to Varun. Especially as we go into such a just unprecedented times. These are just, I call it weird, because like how does one even understand and process what is happening? It's just not possible. But yeah, what would you like to say to fellow Indians out there?
Yeah, I would like to say they should be very, very, very careful. They should actually follow all the guidelines, all the rules, because I can't tell you how hard it is to go through such a huge loss, because it happens in seconds. You will not even come to know. Within seconds it will happen, and you never know till what extent it can go. And so you have to be very careful.
Right. Varun?
Yeah.
I would like to say that if the third wave hits, and if it hits with the same ferocity as the second wave, we should all be prepared to take action ourselves. We have to understand that the population of India is really, really large, right? So whether we like it or not, the healthcare system will not be able to support it, right? So us waiting for the government to do something, or us waiting for the authorities to do something, is not really going to solve the problem right now. So if the third wave is coming, I think once we're sure that yes, it's going to hit, I think it's paramount that we form civic bodies and we take action, so that at least things are done in a much more organized manner this time.
Sure.
So when it's coming, we're actually prepared. I'm actually planning something around that. But obviously, I wanted to be closer to the third wave if it's going to hit. But I'm planning to create a body or an organization that can handle this very easily, and also especially give support to the underprivileged and the low-income families, because they literally don't get anything. Once this hits, they're just left for the dead.
Right? I really like what you did with that whole, it's such a small thing, but that thing on insurance for, young, not only young kids out there, but more for, people who come from these underprivileged communities, who have never seen medical bills of that level ever before in their lives. And then, I mean, it's actually, if you think about it, it's such a simple thing, right? Picking up, like if I have, say, for example, a help who's in my house. So what I was saying was, it cost me nothing as a, member.
Did you get it done?
Sorry?
Did you get the insurance done for your...
Exactly. After you said, so after I saw that, the first thing that I thought of was like, why haven't I even thought of this? Why is the family...
500 rupees a month, but that will save them about 8 lakhs a month.
Yeah. It's
sorry, 8 lakhs for a life, right?
Yeah.
So I really implore all the young people who are listening out there, please spend 300 to 500 rupees getting insurance, for your health, for people who help you in all aspects of your life, maybe even your office boy, anybody. They will not have the technical know-how to get the insurance themselves.
Yeah.
It'll take you literally a matter of 20 minutes online to get the insurance for them, but that will save them a lifetime of debt.
Right. Auntie, I want to ask you, what it's been like, and we see these really cool, I think Varun would call it savage things that you say to him, like Varun doing to your MBA, Varun do various things online. One, from a perspective of let's figure this out, is Varun prompting you, or is this just general talk that Varun has actually just recorded?
See, actually, with 3 boys, all the time I have been hearing all this. 3 boys talking to their friends. It is not like from years I have been listening to all this. So when he tells me also, I get it very fast because I've been actually listening to these kind of talks from all the Maitri boys to their friends.
Right. Varun is one so fond of you, and you can see that, online, the amount of love. But like, I think what's very cute is that whoever follows Varun also gets on board with that love. They also like, "Oh, auntie's so cute, auntie's so savage," all that stuff. So like, I don't know. Now when you guys go outside and you guys have been, kind of visiting all these places that Mayank has loved, right? Which I think is such a beautiful thing. Instead of people coming up to Varun, do they come up to you?
Yes, so
Yeah.
many young girls. They are
Yeah.
coming up to me and they are telling me, Auntie, please give us blessings. So we also get a mother-in-law like you.
Oh, sure.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I've
literally.
never heard that. So
Literally,
yeah.
they told me, Auntie, please bless us. My
Yeah.
mom is not like you, but at least we get a mother-in-law like you.
So sweet. How does Varun, how are you reacting to all this?
I've
man?
never heard this.
I don't think
I've
so.
clearly never heard this because if I would have, I would have paid more attention. Yeah.
Awesome. So the Mayank for Bangalore initiative is of course continuing. I don't think the both of you are going to stop because, like I said, you guys are the agenda is to keep the memory of Mayank alive because he was such an unbelievable, beautiful human being. I would love, from your perspective, for you both to kind of. There are, I'm sure, people who are watching this, people who are listening to this, people who might have suffered a similar loss to you, right? What would be, and the funny thing is, when loss like this happens, you get people who come up to you and say various things, right? It's out of concern, it's out of comfort, whatever. But it's very hard to understand what you both have gone through unless we have actually gone through the exact same thing.
Very true.
So what would be your piece of advice to everyone who might be going through something similar?
I would say acceptance comes to different people in different ways. I like to express a lot. That helps me accept what has happened. Some people like to stay quiet. Some people love to travel. Some people love to isolate. Some people maybe just want to, I don't know, get drunk. Everyone has their own way of dealing with accepting what has happened. And I would say there's no right or wrong way. Whatever way makes you feel right to accept what has happened is the best way. The pain, unfortunately, will never go away. It's something that will remain for life. But I think the pain also teaches you a lot. It teaches you how to live better. It teaches you to be more mindful of the present. It teaches you to let go of the past and not think of the future. So I think even the learnings are great. And also it teaches you to cherish the memories, of those who passed away. And more importantly, it's a process. It's not going to get over in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So the idea is not to run away from it. The idea is to face it wholeheartedly, and eventually one day it will pass.
Auntie, anything you want to add?
This thing is like I talk to Mayank.
Right.
Actually, in the night, it is a everyday routine. By 2:30, automatically I wake up, and that is the time every day I talk to him.
Oh, okay, that's lovely.
That is my time to spend time with Mayank, and I literally tell him everything, whatever I want to tell. I send him lots of love. I give him lots of love, and then I keep telling him that please be happy wherever you are. But yes, pain is never going to go away. It is going to die with me.
Right. I don't even think that the both of you intended for such a beautiful thing to come out of something so hurtful. But in so many ways, the both of you have really kept such a beautiful memory of Mayank alive. I don't think many people say thank you to you both, right? So let me, on behalf of everyone else, say thank you for the unbelievable work the both of you have done. And like I said, and Varun has said this multiple, I don't think neither of you do it for the recognition, neither of you do it for the popularity of doing something like this, but more than that, to just keep the memory of such an unbelievable human being alive. The both of you are unbelievable. And when I wanted to kind of reach out to Varun on this, I made it so particular to him that it would be so nice to have you as well, and to see you both as a duo side by side. I want to wish you all the very best. And Auntie, the next time I see you, COVID or not, sorry, I apologize in advance. I'm going to give you the tightest hug and just squish you. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, even I would like to give you a hug.
Well, thank you both for this time. I really appreciate it. And it's been great chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kay.
Thank
We had a
you.
great time, man. Thank you so much. And yeah, hope to see you soon, man. Take
See
care.
you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on more content.